This is the 2026 GMC Terrain AT4, the most versatile trim level in the Terrain lineup for 2026. Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. We're going to take a look at this fully redesigned Terrain and give you all the details. If you want to know more, check out the link to the Mike Morgan Buick GMC website down in the description of the video. A couple of things that help to make this model so versatile. Number one, additional ground clearance. And while it's only about 2 inches, typically you're going to have 6.9 inches. In this case, it's 8.7 inches. You will also find all-wheel drive is standard on the AT4 trim level. And there is another big advantage I'll tell you about shortly that comes with all-wheel drive. Now, we're going to find our LED headlights and LED daytime running lights. You can see the C shape as the animation takes place right there. We'll also find your fog lights right down here, right in this area. Hopefully that's easy to see on the screen. You'll also find the red recovery hooks and a couple of different finishes here with the front grille. You will also find the camera right there, your front facing camera. Yes, I said front grille. It's okay to laugh. What other grille do we have? That's right. But that's the way it goes sometimes when you're out here shooting these videos. 17-inch wheels. And you can see the finish on these wheels. It is nice to see something. While personally, I am not against a black finish on my wheels, if you're gonna do some off-roading, which this model may not be capable of keeping up with Jeeps and things like that, but it can do some fairly light off-roading, but can do more than most as far as its competitors go. I like not having that gloss black finish on the wheels because it won't show damage from rocks and different things that might come up from the ground. But you do have a gloss finish here on the fender wells and the body treatments down there, all of the different trim pieces and all of that around the vehicle. So not sure that that's a good place for gloss black. We're going to have our gloss black mirror caps. We will also find that we have the cameras built in. These are heated power adjustable side view mirrors, and you will also find your blind spot monitoring built in. One thing that I do think should change here, at least in my opinion, has to do with the button right here. That's passive entry. If you have it on the front door handles, you should also have it on the rear. That should just be a default feature, standard, no matter what the situation is, but that's the way it is. And speaking of that, here is your remote. Lock, unlock, remote start. You can open and close your power tailgate, and there's the panic button if you need it. You also have a built-in key that you can pull out when you need that. And if you're saying, well, Tom, where do I unlock the vehicle if I ever need to? You can see a little bit of a difference in the front and rear door handles because this is removable. And there is where you're going to unlock the door. And having the two different finishes here with the white and the black really sets this model off. Not something you see very often in this day and age, but I think it looks perfect here. You're going to have the roof rails up top. You can get the crossbars and increase your cargo capacity. The nice large rear window spoiler with the rear window wiper. We'll finish things off here with our tail lights. Give you a quick look at how everything looks when you open the interior, or should I say unlock the interior. You have the animation once again back here, just like you do with the headlights. An additional feature I did not mention earlier in the video that comes with this AT4 trim level is going to be underbody protection. You've got a skid plate up here in the front area. Under the hood is the 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It makes 175 horsepower and 203 pounds-feet of torque. I know a lot of people are going to say that's underpowered. Well, drive it and see what you think about it. Can it use more horsepower? Yeah, it definitely can, but that's just what we have right now. What was that difference I was talking about earlier if you go with all-wheel drive? If you go front-wheel drive, which isn't available with this trim level, however, if you get a trim level that does have front-wheel drive available, it will have a CVT, continuously variable transmission. I know a lot of you don't like that. If you go all-wheel drive, you'll have an 8-speed automatic transmission. MPGs estimated in at 24 city, 26 highway, 25 combined, and 4 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. The gas tank size is going to be 15.6 gallons. On a single tank of gas, you are estimated to be able to drive about 360 miles in the city and 490 miles out on the highway. Those numbers will obviously vary depending on a number of different things. You might get more, you might get less, but I'm curious to know, for those of you that have a 2026 Terrain AT4, what kind of numbers are you achieving? If you happen to want to tow something with your Terrain, it can tow a maximum of 1,500 pounds. Now I want you to notice what's happening. I'm not touching anything here. You hear all those beeps and see the taillights flashing. That is your hands-free tailgate. So depending on your situation, you can walk up and just stand there and it will open. Now if you happen to be walking past back here, just keep walking. Don't stop, don't slow down, and then it won't open. It will keep beeping, but it won't open until you get past. Cargo capacity will range between 29.8 cubic feet up to 63.5 cubic feet. We'll have your cargo area lighting on each side. There's a little bit of additional storage space here and the access to your spare tire that's located underneath this area. When it comes to the back seat area, let's talk about the armrest first. Seems to be pretty comfortable. A little bit of padding built in right there. Going to have our door bin. There is a little bit of recline built into these back seats, into the seat backs right here, but you cannot adjust that. Just something to know about. Something I do have to give a thumbs up to right here. When you're going to lower the seat backs down to keep the seat belt from getting in the way, you have this area right here, this little notch that's cut out that is meant to put the seat belt buckle in just like that. I think that's very convenient, and there actually is a reasonable amount of space. For convenience purposes, it's nice to have the strap right there that you can use to pull down the armrest with the cup holders built in. And something that should make everybody happy is going to be the fact that you have air conditioning vents for your rear seat passengers, also a couple of USB options. Now during this time of the year, it really isn't going to be helpful, at least not in my opinion, and that's going to be heated seats. But you do have the heated outboard seats. How about we have some ventilated seats back here for rear seat passengers? They will also find the rear seat pockets. One thing you do not have in this particular situation will be the sunroof. If it were here, it would be a panoramic sunroof. The sticker price is $42,285. Let's see what else you get for that price. We'll have something that, well, every vehicle has. We're gonna have a glove box right here with no gloves inside. I never find gloves in there. But you will find a nice large armrest and door bin, the AT4 logo stitched into the headrest. Here are the front seats, only in the front seats. I always like to see that in all of the headrests, just makes more sense that way. But something that definitely makes sense, and it is here, are power adjustable seats for the driver and the passenger, and both here in the front seat have lumbar support. Both are also heated and ventilated. We'll find our sunglass holder right here, and we'll find the remainder of our controls here. Now you might wonder, where is your home link? Well, now it is located in the center screen, and I'm going to show you a lot of things that are located in the center screen as of 2026, and you can tell me what you think about that. You do have your digital rear view mirror, the rear view camera mirror. If you want to use that as a conventional rear view mirror, you can do that. You do have some adjustments built in depending on what you might want to do there, and we just flip the lever forward right there to bring that up. Seat memory on the driver's side, all of your controls for your side view mirrors. And you might have noticed I didn't say the side view mirrors are power folding, and that is because they are not. They are manually folding, but I don't think that's too big of a deal for most people. Lock and unlock and control all your windows right here. Here's your power parking brake and auto stop start right there. As you can see some of the other features that are there, including your drive modes, which we will run through right now. Let's see what those drive modes are. We have normal. We're going to have, let's go and start with normal just like that. Show you the graphics that go with that. Normal, off-road, we'll have terrain, snow and ice, and then your tow haul mode. This model also has hill descent control if that's something you ever need. There is a lever right down here on the bottom of the steering column that allows you to adjust the tilt and telescopic adjustable steering wheel. As you can see, it is tilt and telescopically adjustable. You have all of your steering wheel mounted controls, everything for adaptive cruise control over here. You can turn the heated steering wheel on. Still waiting to see a manufacturer come up with a ventilated steering wheel. That would be so helpful, especially for those of us that live in really hot climates. Now, you will also find your shifter paddles on the back of the steering wheel and on the back of the steering wheel. Let's see if I can get back here. You can control the volume here on the right-hand side, and you can control what you're listening to over on the left-hand side with the same kind of controls. Here is your shifter. That should be very nice for a lot of people. It's not push button. That's always a good thing. Everything for your windshield wipers and your rear window wipers here and your turn signal indicators. I know it's really hard for a lot of people to use, but just get in good shape. I promise you'll be healthy enough to do it. And you can push that button right there to run your windshield washer fluid. Yes, I love being sarcastic about those who don't use their turn signals and among other problems on the road. Now, something that you might look at and say, Tom, what happens if I don't want navigation on my 11-inch driver's display? That's where this button comes in. Useful, you can change that. You have a few different views with different information displayed depending on what it is you want to see. So as you can see, you have your 3 different views right there. Nice and convenient. Now we have the 15-inch touchscreen. What do you think about that? A lot of people tell me in some vehicles that something as small as a 9-inch touchscreen is too small. What would you consider to be too big? What do you think about this screen? You'll have Google built in. You have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can wirelessly pair your smartphone. You've got the Play Store. All of that's going to be here. Multiple camera views. I showed you the front view camera and the camera in the side view mirrors. And there is your rear view and overhead cameras. Now, we can go right here and select the front view. That's what it's going to look like. We also have the 2 overhead views, and we'll have 2 views with our side view mirrors. We're going to exit out of that and just show you a little bit more of what's here. Pretty easy to deal with. We're going to come back to this screen shortly, but I wanted to go into settings right here and show you a few things too. So depending on what you need to change, there's quite a few things here that you can change. We're going to scroll back up here to vehicle because there are a few things that I think are very important to tell you about. Number 1, teen driver. You have your rear seat reminder, buckle to drive. I do recommend using your seat belt when you drive. But if you're just driving around in a parking lot or something like that where you don't need your seat belt on, well, you can turn that feature off. But like I say, use it when you're driving. Climate control, and something that I know a lot of people like to know about, your safety features, the driving aids. You can go in there and adjust your alert type if you want to. Forward collision avoidance, front pedestrian braking, intersection collision braking, adaptive cruise go notifier, side bicyclist alert, lane change alert, park assist with braking, park assist tow bar, rear cross traffic braking, and rear pedestrian alert. Now, I wanted to show you something else. If your power tailgate does not work, or if you want to turn a feature off, here's where you're going to come to do that at comfort and convenience. And then we're going to go right here to hands-free exterior storage access. And you may not want that to work. You might want to turn it off. Well, here's where you do it. You can have it on open only or off, or if you want to change the height to which it opens, this is where you're going to do that. I told you there was a lot in the screen. You have maximum, custom, and off. And if it's not opening, those are 2 places you also want to come and check to see what's going on, because you may find out that something needs to be turned on. You can turn the reverse tilt mirror on or off right there. And if you don't know what that means, when you go into reverse, the mirrors tilt down to make it easier to see what is behind you. And you can see what else we have here. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that, but what I do want to spend a little bit of time on has to do with what we see right here. Now, you will control your headlights here. Off auto, you can turn those on manually right there if you want to. You can also come right here, and you have a lot going on. As you can see, your dome light, you can come in here and turn your power window locks on and off, traction control, hill descent control. You can see everything that is here. And then you have see more controls. And this is where you're going to find those other features, one of which I mentioned to you earlier. How do you set things up to open and close your garage doors with the vehicle itself? And it's pretty easy to set this up, and you can actually program up to 8 remotes, as you can see right there. I don't know who has 8 garage doors they need to open and close. Maybe you're that person. I know I'm not. I've only got 2. But it's real easy to deal with. Depending on what you have, you're either going to use D mode or the UR mode. Hopefully you'll know which is which for yours. But it's going to walk you through the process. It's very easy to deal with. And you can also come right here to do the same thing, either here or down here. And then you'll get to that same screen. Tell me what you think about that. Some people might say, I think that's really cool. Some people might say, I want my physical controls back that we used to have. Here's everything for your radio, turning that on and off and adjusting the volume. and then down here. Now, you have a combination as far as your heated and ventilated seats and your air conditioning controls go that are going to be on the screen, such as with your heated and ventilated seats. And then with the air conditioning, I am so glad there are still physical controls right here for temperature, dual zone climate control, fan speed. You can see what all is there. A little bit of storage space here and some USB ports in front of the cup holders. There's your wireless charging pad. And then within the center console, a reasonable amount of space for this size of SUV. As you can see, the tray is removable. All right, let's get out on the road for a quick test drive. For those of you that are wondering about how tall of a person can fit in the driver's seat comfortably, you have a lot of adjustability built in between the height and the steering wheel adjustments and everything that goes along with the different adjustments on the driver's seat. You will have no trouble at all, and very easy to see out of. You have all your great safety features and that rear view camera mirror for when maybe you have somebody sitting in the middle seat of the second row. Well, you don't have to worry about having trouble seeing, although you can drive with your side view mirrors, no problem. I know there's a lot of people out there that can do that. That's no big deal. So you don't have to have the rear view camera mirror to be able to see with and maybe issues with being able to use your rear view mirror in the conventional manner, but depends on who you are, what your experience is. Now, as far as the horsepower goes, 175, is it underpowered? Well, some people are going to say yes, and some people are going to say no. It seems to get up just fine without any trouble getting up to speed. As far as my experience goes, I haven't been in a situation where I've had a lot of fast-moving traffic around me, so it does make a difference where that is concerned. Obviously, if you're driving in a lot of heavy traffic. But I am curious to know, for people who maybe are out there that have had a Terrain for a while, one of these 26 Terrains, what has your experience been? Now, I'm going to get on down the road here and cruise down the road. We're not going to go too fast, but just ease into the pedal and get up to speed. Not really a big deal as far as that's concerned, but I know nobody's buying a Terrain for the purpose of trying to drive really fast. But one thing that is a big benefit here to this size of vehicle is the fact that it has a nice tight turning radius. And so if you're living in a highly congested city or tight confines as far as where you normally park, different things along those lines, well, this is definitely something that will be very helpful in having all-wheel drive, having a lot of benefits where that's concerned. If you need a couple of extra inches, while that's not a lot of ground clearance, that's here too. And the technology, while it looks different, is really just as simple to use and learn as it's always been. So don't let that scare you off. I know a lot of people look at this new screen and say, man, that's a big screen. It's got to be difficult to learn and use. Not really the case. So just try it out for yourself. But one thing I definitely do recommend is driving these Terrains for yourself, because some people might say, you know what, Tom, that 175 horsepower is not going to be a problem for me. Other people might say, yeah, I need something with a little more power. It just depends on your situation, your expectations, and really maybe what you're used to driving before you change to your next vehicle, whatever that may be, whether it's this Terrain or something else. And there it is, the 2026 GMC Terrain AT4, the most versatile trim level in the Terrain lineup. A lot going on here. Plus, you've got the advantage of the 8-speed automatic transmission that comes with all-wheel drive and the advantages of all-wheel drive. Tell me what you think about the Terrain for 2026. I'd like to say a special thanks to my friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC for loaning me this Terrain for the day so I could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That's very helpful to me. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And please share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. If you'd like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.